repenting on a daily basis. You better thank the Most High some of us brothers repented, because we probably be robbing you niggas and checking your pockets. You know what I'm saying?
First, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, in the name of His only begotten Son, who the Word ignorantly called Jesus the Christ, whose name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahawah, the King of Kings, Lord of Lords. I'm Captain Lamak of the Servants Assembly, Alabama. I'm coming to you with a little short exhortation on the true demeanor of the Most High and his also his prophets, because a lot of Christians that's into Christianity, they think that for some reason they read all past about all the destruction and all the different things that the Most High Yahawah has done over his people Israel, all the different kingdoms and all the different people that he's destroyed, just to protect his name, right? But then they go and then they say that the Most High God Yahawah is a sweet God, right? He only has the power to be nice. He's not all powerful. He's just sweet. He's just nice. He's daffodils, sunflowers, whatever you want to call it. And he has a counterpart who's all evil and all powerful at being evil. And the Most High is all powerful just at being good. Well, that's not in the scriptures. The Most High he does all things, right? So we're gonna get into a couple of these precepts, right? It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, and verse 39. It says, "See now that I, even I am He, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand," right? So the Most High God Yahawah says he kills, right? He kills things. He puts things to death, right? He kills nations. He kills kingdoms. He shuts them down, right? But he can also make you alive. He can also breathe the breath of life into you. He can give you the law, statutes, and commandments that you can live. He can also give you a physical life. He can make and create life, but he can also create death. Everything has a balance. The Most High God is a God of balance. Everything he does, there's an equal side to it of evil and good, right? Now let's get 1 Samuel 2 and 6. It's the book of 1 Samuel chapter 2 and verse 6. "The Lord killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up," right? So he can resurrect your spirit up from the grave again. Because we know once your body goes into the earth, it goes back to the earth from which it came. But your spirit goes back to the Most High. We know that those spirits go into those spirits go to the Most High. Then he puts it in another vessel at another season, right? So it says, "The Lord killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave," which means he can put you to rest. He can close your eyes. He can push you into the sleep. He can have you sleep with your fathers, but he can also reawaken your spirit. He can also take your spirit and put it in another vessel that you can live again. Remember, the scriptures say, don't fear the man that can kill your flesh, but fear the man that can kill your flesh and your spirit. Roughly paraphrasing, right? So let's go from that. Let's go to the book of Job. Let's go to the book of Job. The book of Job, the first chapter. Because this is very important. The Most High God did not get into an altercation with the spiritual demon Satan. Like it was a fight to the finish, and the Most High God, he wasn't as powerful because he was only good, and all he could do is shoot rainbows and white bunnies at the spiritual demon Satan. And Satan had the black motorcycle with the Hellraiser head and chains swinging, and he was so evil, and he was so powerful because he was evil, and almost like the movie Little Nicky, where the so-called Jew, Adam Sandler, he played as if he was all good at that time, but he did come from an evil place. He was the son of Satan, right? So that's not the way this thing goes down, right? So we're going to prove that with the book of Job 1 and 6. It says, now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord Yahawah, right? So who's the sons of God in this context? This is talking about the angels. So the angels came to get their orders from the Most High God, because the Most High God has angels on the left-hand side and on the right-hand side. He has angels that does everything. He's not just sending angels to give lollipops and change babies' diapers. That's not what he's doing. The Valentine's Day Cupid, he doesn't have angels like that, right? It says, now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Salakia, before the Lord. And Satan came also among them, right? So if Satan was locked away in hell, where people go to burn for eternity, how in the world did he get up there to the Most High? How did he get to the third heaven with the angels to come before the Most High God, Yahawah Ba'Shem Yahushua, right? It says, and the Lord said unto Satan, whence comest thou? So he asked Satan, wait, okay, so where you come from? Where you been at? Right? Then Satan answered the Lord Yahawah and said, from going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. So this man, or this spiritual demon, has a job that was given to him by the Most High God Yahawah. And he doesn't take any days off. He doesn't have sick days or any comp time, right? He's going to and fro in the earth, to the four corners of the earth, seeing who he can tempt, seeing who he can make manifest the evil thoughts of their mind, because that's the only power that Satan has, is to enhance the evil thoughts in your mind or to manifest them. These are evil things that you want to do anyway, so he uses those things to keep you down, to keep you in sin, whether that's pornography, whether that's being an adulteress, whether that's being a whoremonger, whether that's eating unclean things, whatever your vice is, that's what the spiritual demon Satan hones in on. He doesn't have any power, but he doesn't take any days off, and he's constantly busy with the children of men, chiefly the children of Israel, because that's what's going to keep, that's the Most High uses him to sharpen us up so that we can be proven through the fire. That's what Satan does. He has no power over the Most High God. He actually is an agent of the Most High God, Yahawah Ba'Shem Yahushua. Right? So let's get Job 2 and 20. It's the book of Job, chapter 2. Salakia 2 and 10. It's the book of Job, chapter 2, in verse 10. But he said unto her, thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What shall we receive good at the hand of God? And shall we not receive evil? Let me read that again. Shall we receive good at the hand of Yahawah Ba'Shem Yahushua and we not receive evil? So Job is telling you that the Most High he corners the market on good and evil. You can get good from the Most High, but he can also put you at a lower state. He can also send you into cargo slave ships. He can also put a lower being of people, which is the so-called YT man, and have them be powerful over you. Have them run all over you. Have them keep their foot on your neck. Have them do all levels of wickedness for however long he allows it. Again, the book of Job 1 and 6 says that all the evil doings of Satan, he was sent by the Most High God Yahawah, right? It says, in all this did not Job sin with his lips, right? So he didn't lie. This is the truth. The Most High controls the evil and he controls the good, right? So from that, let's get Exodus 15:3. Book of Exodus. (15) in verse 3. The Lord is a man of war. Yahawah is his name, right? So the Most High is a man of war, and his name in the Hebrew is Yahawah, the Tetragrammaton, right? It's Yahawah, right? His son is Yahweh Shai, right? So again, that's just doubling down on the fact that the Most High is a man of war. His prophets are men of war. Yahweh Shai was a man of war. Every man, David was a man after the Most High's heart. Wasn't he also a man of war? Then he killed thousands, 10,000s of men with his bare hands. Did not the Most High anoint Samson? Did he not kill thousands of Philistines with a donkey, a jaw? Everybody, every man in the Bible will put you to sleep. He'll put you and you'll sleep with your fathers, man. Right? So let's go and let's prove that with the book of 1 Samuel again. Let's go back to the book of 1 Samuel. Let's go to the book of 1 Samuel. If you get there before me, then I mean you fast, right? This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 16 and verse 4. And Samuel did that which the Lord spoke, and came to Bethlehem, and the elders of the town trembled at his coming, right? So the elders, we know that the elders sit at the gates. They sit at the gates, they commune there, right? And they give word to the young men that's in the alleys, and they protect. So the elders are in the front gate, and Samuel is coming, right? And Samuel did that which the Lord spake, and came to Bethlehem, and the elders of the town trembled at his coming, and said, Comest thou peaceably? So if Samuel was coming up, tiptoeing, doing the twist, hopscotching to the elders, you think they would have said, they would have asked that man whether he came peaceably or not? This was a man of the Lord. But his countenance was as of the mighty man. Our prophets was rough, rugged individuals. You have to be a rough, rugged individual just to go out here and do the work. You can't be no softly feminine man when you got spirits constantly challenging you that want to destroy you for the words that's coming out of your mouth. Every prophet in the scriptures was saying these same words that we say to this day, that we go out there and teach to this day. They were saying the same thing all the way down to our Mashiach Yahawah. If they were saying these things that T.D. Snakes was saying, they would not be persecuted the way that they was, and chiefly by our own people. Right? It says, verse 5, and he said, and Samuel said to them, Peaceably, I am come to sacrifice unto the Lord. Sanctify yourselves and come with me to the sacrifice. And he sacrificed he sacrificed Jesse and his sons, sanctified Jesse and his sons, and called them to the sacrifice, right? So he was just coming to do the business of the Levites, right? So let's go to the book of Nehemiah 30, right? It's the book of Nehemiah. Book of Nehemiah chapter 13 and verse 20. It reads, so the merchants, so let me make sure that I got that right. Yeah. Nehemiah 13 and verse 20. So the merchants and sellers of all kind of ware lodged without Jerusalem once or twice. So when Nehemiah was building back the temple, right? They would have Hamites and all different types of nations that would come outside the gate, right, and sell victuals to us, right? It says, and they were enlarged without Jerusalem once or twice. Verse 21, then I testified against them, Nehemiah, and said unto them, why lodge ye about the wall? So he went out there and said, hey, it's the Sabbath day. This was the Sabbath day. He said, why lodge ye about the wall? Nothing's going to happen. You're not going to make any money because I'm not allowing my people to buy from you on the Sabbath day. So he asked him, why lodge ye about the wall? Now, mind you, he hadn't even came outside the wall yet. He's just talking from the inside. It says, if ye do so again, I will lay hands on you. Read that again. Nehemiah said, if you lodge about the wall again to put my people in sin by selling wares, if you do that thing one more time, what did he say? I will lay hands on you. From that time that he said that, moving forward, came they no more on the Sabbath day, right? So Nehemiah threatened, and I'm pretty sure it was more than one Hamite out there that was selling victuals. He said he's going to put hands on them, right? So Nehemiah was a mighty warrior and prophet of God as well, right? Every prophet had an edge to him, right? So let's go ahead on and let's go a little further. Let's get Nehemiah 13 and verse 23. Right? And this is about us going into these other nations and having foreign wives. And I'm going to go into that in definitely in another lesson. Because we're definitely not supposed to go into the women of these other nations, right? It says, Nehemiah 13 and verse 23. Now in those days also saw I Jews that had married wives of Ashdod, and of Ammon, the Japanese man, and of Moab, the Chinese woman. And the children spake half in the speech of Ashdod, and could not speak in the Jews' language. So these children could not speak the Lashawan Kodash. They could not speak the Paleo-Hebrew. Now we know in the book of Sirach that the words, that the scriptures being read and spoke with the Hebrew have more strength, it has more power. Right? So the Most High wasn't dealing with these other languages, man. That's the reason why he gave everybody their own language. Right? It says language, but according to the language of each people. Now Nehemiah, verse 25, he said, and I contended with them and cursed them. Hey, he cursed them people out, man. Hey, didn't I tell you don't go into these other nations? Don't go into these damn nations, man. And smoke certain of them, and some of them he hit. He smoked certain of them. Certain of his people he smoked. He cursed that some, and he hit some of them. Right? And plucked off their hair. Right? So he went to the jaw, started plucking off their beard hair, plucking off their chest hair. And that's the excruciating pain, man, to have your hair pulled off like that, right? It says, ye shall not, he said, and made them swear by Yahawah, saying, ye shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons, or for yourselves. Verse 26. Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these same things? Yet among many nations was there no king like him, who was beloved of Yahawah, and Yahawah made him king over all Israel. Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women cause to sin. Right? So, again, what did Nehemiah do? He went to the body. He cursed them. He smoked certain of them. Right? He threatened to put hands on the Hamites that was outside the gates, outside the walls. And I'm pretty sure there was other nations too. But we know that a lot of the Hamites was real big at big merchants. They was real big on selling stuff. They still is today. You see them out there with the markets everywhere. They like to go and sell different things, right? So let's move on. Let's move on. Let's get the book of 2 Timothy chapter 1 and verse 7. It's the book of 2 Timothy chapter 1 and verse 7. For Yahawah had not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. So right, the Most High never gave us the spirit of fear. Fear is a disease, right? Fear is I was talking to a brother the other day, right? Fear is being uncertain. The reason why we don't have fear, the Most High did not really give us fear, because the law, statutes, and commandments, the gospel, the word of God is what gives us confidence. So if you're keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, you'll have the most confidence. You understand who protects you, what you need to do, how you need to go about your life. So your confidence, if you have that, if you're doing what the Most High says, you're keeping His commandments to the best of your ability, there will be no fear, because your fear comes from your lack of confidence, your worrying. Most men and women that's in the faith don't have much worry. They have worry, but they don't have the worry that a lot of other people do. Like, one is death. We know where we're going. We understand what death is and what it isn't. Most people don't understand what death is. They just running around scared. They don't know what's going on from day to day. They don't understand the prophecies. So we find comfort in the scriptures. That's the word I'm actually looking for. We find comfort in the scriptures. So when the Most High says, for Yahawah hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power. So we understand through the scriptures, that's how we get our power. We understand what our power is. He's talking to Israel. He's not talking to everybody else. It says, and of love. We understand what love is. Understand, this is all talking to Israel. And of a sound mind. Once you understand these laws, statutes, and commandments, you'll have a sound mind. Your mind, you'll be relaxed when everybody else is in an uproar. When all hell is breaking loose, you'll notice the pressure and things going around, but being that you understand the end game, you understand the will of the Lord, you'll have a more sound mind. Right? So we're going to get ready and wrap this up, right? Let's get Ezekiel chapter 3 and verse 8. It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 3, and I'll start at verse 8. Behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces, and thy forehead strong against their forehead. This is the Most High talking. As an adamant harder than flint have I made thy forehead. Fear them not, neither be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house, right? So when you out there teaching, doing all these things, you know that we're going to be, our people are rebellious, man, right? It says, even though they be a rebellious house, moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, all my words that I shall speak unto thee, receive in thine mind, and hear with thine ears, and go get thee to them of the captivity. We know that that's talking about Israel. Unto the children of thy people, and speak unto them, and tell them, thus saith the Lord Yahawah, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear. Hey man, so we don't give a damn about your faces. We don't give a damn about how you're looking. We don't give a damn about your hollering and hooting and hollering, your barking. We don't care about that, because we follow in the ways of the prophets. We follow in the ways of Yahawah. We do not have the spirit of fear. We have a sound mind, right? And as you've seen so far, all the prophets were like that, right? So let's go jump for that. Let's get John chapter 2 and verse 13. Is where we got a couple more precepts. And I'm going to leave you with the rest of your day. Right? It's the book of John, chapter 2, verse 13. And the Jews' Passover was at hand. And Yahawah, who the word ignorantly calls Jesus the Christ, went up to Jerusalem, right? So this is talking about Jesus, or Hamashiach Yahawah. And found in the temple those that sold oxen and sheep and doves, and the changers of money sitting, right? Again, three times out of the year, one of them is the Passover. All men are ordered to come to the Holy Land, right, to keep the Passover. These men are coming from different lands, which means they have different currency. They're going into the church and they're changing their money over. That's not a problem. You have to change it to Jerusalem money or Judah money because that's where you are. That's the money you're spending. We still do this to this day. But that's not the problem. The problem is they're taking that money and buying sacrifices. They're buying sacrifices for different sins, right? These are just some of the animals that they're buying. Oxen, sheep, and doves. That's just a few. So Israel coming up from these different lands, planning to freak off on the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So they're planning on doing whatever they want to do. That's why the Most High said, I don't want your sacrifices no more. I don't want your oblations no more. Because this is what they were doing. They were planning to freak off even before they even got there. So that's how wicked our people is. That's why we in captivity to this day. It says, Salakia, verse 16, and said unto them that sold doves, this is the word of the Lord, this is red letter, take these things hence, make not my father's house a house of merchandise. Verse 17, and his disciples remembered that it was written, the zeal of thine heart. Salakia, I skipped, Salakia. Verse 15, and when he had made a scourge of small cords. So Yahawah made a whip. He made a scourge. I don't know if people, brothers, remember who are my age and showing my age, right? But the Thundercats, Tigra had a whip with little balls with blades at the end of them, right? So that thing that Yahawah made was similar to that. Now we can go a little further and we can actually go into how the Thundercats, Lion-O, all of that kind of goes into the Bible. Remember, these nations are not creative, right? Go until you start looking at it, start looking at the spirit coming down. Anyway, that's another subject. But he made a scourge that was similar to Tigris, right? It says, and when he made a scourge of small cords and drove them all out of the temple. So he whipped them niggas and whipped them out of the temple. He whipped Jake. Right? Ain't no telling how many Jakes was up in there. You think Yahawah was scared of how many Jakes was in there? He just went in there and just got the whipping. He didn't ask no questions, right? Says, and he drove them all out of the temple, and the sheep, and the oxen. You know how big oxen is? Those animals back then was way more nourished than the animals to this day. The men and women was eating great. The animals was eating great. Hey, who's to say the oxen wasn't, shoot, the size of a navigator or something like that, right? The sheep was bigger. They wasn't these lame sheep that we got today, all sick, damn pollution in the air, and eating dirty water and eating nasty grass and whatever, man. They wasn't dealing with that, right? It says, and poured out the changers money. So took their change and just threw it on the table, threw it on the floor, right? And he overthrew the tables, right? Yahawah didn't turn those tables back over. He did what he wanted to do. He said what he wanted to say. He did what he wanted to do because he was a man of war. He was a mighty man. The scriptures say that the Most High was, Yahawah, the son of the Most High, was a austere man. That means he was gritty. He was what's the word? He was brash. he was very what's the word? He was very sarcastic. He wasn't the way that the so-called white man has him looking like Fabio with blue eyes, running around, don't know what's going on, running for his life, don't know why people want to kill him. Only thing I'm doing is telling the word of God. I'm such a good man. I'm so sweet. All this folly, man. No, he wasn't like that, man. Right? It says, he said, and said unto them that sold doves, take these things hence, make not my father's house a house of merchandise, right? So Yahawah, he got busy, man. So let's get Luke 13 and 32 real quick. Let's get the account of Luke. Let's get the account of Luke. All right. It's the book of Luke, chapter 13. Bear with me. This is the book of Luke, chapter 13. And I'll start at verse 32. And he said unto them, go ye, Salaki, verse 31. Now the same day there came certain of the Pharisees, saying unto him, get thee out and depart hence, for Herod will kill thee. So some Pharisees was coming out telling Yahawah to get on out of here, because if Herod see you, he gonna kill you. But what did Yahawah say about the so-called white man Herod? He said, go ye and tell that fox, behold, I cast out demons and do curses today and tomorrow and the third day, and I shall be perfected. Right? So what he say? He said, you tell that soft, tiptoeing infidel, he called that man a fox. You watch TikTok, it's cats that beat up foxes. Slap them every day. Them foxes ain't got no fight, man. That's why they try to be clever. They try to eat eggs. They don't hunt really like that, because they don't have that. They not brave. He said, you tell that sucker, you tell that weak joker. I said, look. What did he say? He said, look, go ye. So go to him and tell that fox, look. Behold means to look. Look, I cast out devils and do cures today and tomorrow. Right? So that's 1 and 2. You know, third, that's a complete cycle. So he's saying, I'm going to be here for a long time. Even though it was 3 days, but that's still powerful, that number 3. It says, and the third day, and then I shall be perfected. So I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm not studying that dude. Now this is Yahawah. This is damn Fabio for the so-called white man, right? So let's get Luke 19. It's supposed to be quick, but it's all right. It's the book of Luke, chapter 19, and verse 27. Now this is Yahawah. This is red letters. It says, but those mine enemies, which would not that I should reign over them. So this is when we're in the wilderness, right? This is what Yahawah is telling the men that's walking with him. He's telling Israel, right, that made it to the wilderness. He's saying, but those mine enemies would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me. What did he say? Bring hither. So bring those jokers here and kill them right in front of me. So again, the Most High God, Yahawah, the prophets, his son, none of them was effeminate, and the Lord is a man of war, man. We're men of war through the Spirit, right? And the Most High is going to download that Spirit in us more and more until that day comes where he's going to use us to be his weapons of warfare, right? To be his battle axes, right? So let's get the last precept. Let's get the book let's get the account from the Apostle Mark. Right, so this is when the apostles was trying to cast out demons, right? It says, we'll just start at verse 27. But Yahawah took him by the hand and lifted him up. So like, that's not what I want. I'll just start at 23. Yahawah said unto them, "And thou canst believe all things are possible to him that believe." And straightway the father of the child cried out and said with tears, "Lord, I believe, help thou mine unbelief." Then Yahawah saw that the people came running together. He rebuked the foul spirit, saying unto him, "Thou," this is Yahawah rebuking the spirit, "thou dumb and deaf spirit, I charge thee, come out of him and enter no more into him." Verse 26. And the spirit cried and rent him sore, and came out of him, and he was as one that was dead, insomuch that many said, "He is dead." But Yahawah took him by the hand and lifted him up, and he arose. And when he saw, and when he was come into the house, his disciples asked him privately, why could not we cast him out? Right? Verse 29. And said unto them, Yahawah said, "This kind can come forth by nothing but by prayer and fasting." Verse 30. And they departed thence and passed through Galilee, and he would not that any man should know it. Verse 31. For he taught his disciples and said unto them, "The Son of Man is delivered unto the hands of men, and they shall kill him, and after that he is killed, he shall rise the third day." But the prophets didn't understand what was going on. They really didn't know, like, where you going to go, right? Because they didn't know really that Yahawah was going to have to die later, right? Verse 32. But they understood not that saying, and were afraid to ask him, right? So if Yahawah was this soft, effeminate, easygoing man, why would the prophets be scared to ask them if they don't know what he's talking about? Right? So, with that, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, in the name of his only begotten Son, who the word ignorantly calls Jesus the Christ, whose name in the Paleo Hebrew is Hamashiach Yahawah. I'm Captain Lamak of the Servants Assembly, Alabama, and I'm going to say shalom.
Repenting on a daily basis. You better thank the Most High some of us brothers repented, because we probably be robbing you niggas and checking your pockets.